Hello, good morning friends. Today let us start with the newspaper of 7th December for UPSC, TSPSC, etc. Now I am starting with the first article. It says Center blocks over 100 websites that are involved in job frauds. Okay, Ministry of Home Affairs statement that there are 100 websites that are facilitating organized illegal investment and luring people based on the task based part-time job frauds. Okay, these websites are luring people based on the task based part-time job frauds. Okay, these websites are blocked by which ministry? Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So this investigation is conducted by Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center and National Cybercrime Threat Analytics Unit, which identified that there are 100 websites which are luring people based on part-time jobs. Okay, the MeitY got its power through block websites through Information Technology Act 2000. It is very important. IT Act 2000. Based on this act, the MeitY has power to block websites. Okay, basically these are operated by overseas actors and they are using digital advertisements and messengers, mule or rented accounts. Okay, next we have, in India the nodal agency to deal with cyber crimes is Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, which works under Ministry of Home Affairs in a comprehensive manner. Here comes one more important news. Garba dance of Gujarat makes it to UNESCO list. Okay, Garba is included in the Intangible Cultural Heritage by UNESCO. It is the 15th cultural item from India to make it to the list. Before this there was Kolkata Durga Puja and this was added 2 years ago. This inclusion was based on 2003 Convention for Safeguarding Intangible and Cultural Heritage. Okay, now Garba is included in Intangible Cultural List of UNESCO. Here comes one more important news from international affairs. Italy withdraws from China's Belt and Road project. So Italy is the only G7 country that has joined the China's Belt and Road initiative way back. But now in 2024 they are announcing that they are withdrawing from the China's Belt and Road initiative. Okay, UPSC many times asked in prelims and mains regarding China's Belt and Road initiative. Okay, let us see what is Belt and Road initiative. China's one. It is also called One Belt and One Road. It is a multi-phased development strategy. It is a multi-phased development strategy that enhances global connectivity and cooperation. Basically, it is for global connectivity. Okay, it was launched in 2013 by which country? China. It aims to link South Asia, Central Asia, Gulf region, Africa, Europe with a network of land and sea routes. Okay, it was named as, it is also called as One Belt, One Road. It is also called as One Belt, One Road. So it has two parts, Silk Road Economic Belt and Maritime Silk Road. What is the objective? The objective of BRI is to boost international connectivity by enhancing infrastructure, trade, economic cooperation. Basically it connects world through a wide range of projects such as through railways, roads, ports, highways and energy infrastructure, etc. Okay. There are many geographic corridors in this. In that, one important thing is there are 6 corridors. One is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, New Eurasian Land Bridge Economic Corridor, China-Indo-China Peninsula Economic Corridor, China-Mongolia-Russia Economic Corridor, China-Central Asia-West Asia Economic Corridor and China-Myanmar Economic Corridor. Now, let us see what is the stand of India on BRI. So, India always opposes BRI. Why India opposes? It says that it is against sovereignty and transparency. India boycotted BRI summits in 2017 and 2019 and it has not endorsed BRI joint statement in SCO meeting. So India main objection is for China Pakistan Economic Corridor CPEC, which passes through POK, Pak occupied Kashmir, which claims India claims that POK is mine, but this CPEC is passing through POK without India's permission. So India mainly objects China Pakistan Economic Corridor. Okay, instead India supports various other global connectivity projects such as Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. It is a G7 initiative to fund infrastructure in developing countries. So if we look into the issues of BRI project, mainly China uses debt trap policy. China uses debt trap policy means it funds infrastructure projects in poor countries. It provides them debt. After they declined economically, it dominates them politically. So it happened with Sri Lanka, Hambantota port. It happened with many African countries. So the main issue with this One Belt One Road is debt trap diplomacy of China. So it making the nations to fall in debt trap, and it is controlling their political affairs, it is affecting their sovereignty. Okay. There comes one more news. Indian origin media executive Samir Shah to head BBC board. It is very important for groups, Indian origin persons who are heading different posts in worldwide. So Samir Shah will take over the reins of BBC board, means he is heading the BBC board. BBC board is a UK government British Broadcasting Corporation. He will be the next chairman. He is a person from India. He was born in Aurangabad and moved to UK in 1960. So his position is important because at present BBC is facing financial challenges and there are questions over its independence. Okay, one thing to remember is who is heading BBC now? Samir Shah. Samir Shah is heading BBC now. Samir Shah is heading BBC. BBC is headed by Samir Shah at present. This is one more important news regarding Jammu Kashmir. It appears in the Hindu. 114 seats migrant quota cleared for Jammu Kashmir Assembly. Okay, this gist is provided here. Okay, the Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill and Jammu Kashmir Reservation Amendment Bill. These two bills are passed in Lok Sabha. So what is this reorganization bill? Reorganization bill increases the total seats in Jammu Kashmir Assembly. It is increasing the total seats in Jammu Kashmir Assembly from 107 to 114. 107 to 114, that is J&K reorganization bill. And 9 seats are reserved for scheduled tribes for the first time. Okay, 9 seats are reserved for STs. And one more important, very important news is that it is providing the Lieutenant Governor to nominate 3 members. LG is getting power to nominate 3 members. 2 are from Kashmir migrant community. 2 are from Kashmiri migrant community and 1 is from POK. 1 person is from POK. And the reservation bill, Jammu Kashmir reservation bill is replacing the term weak and unprivileged social classes with other backward castes. Okay, it is very important news because we are providing a seat for a person in POK, means we are claiming that POK is ours. Okay, what is Jammu Kashmir reservation bill? There is Jammu Kashmir Reservation Act 2004. It provides for reservation in jobs and admissions in professional institutions to member of SCs, STs and other socially educationally backward classes. So the bill is proposing to replace weak and underprivileged class with other backward classes. So in reservation bill we are replacing the term weak and underprivileged classes with other backward classes. Okay, and in reorganization amendment bill we are providing the power to lieutenant governor to nominate 3 members. 2 are from Kashmiri migrant community and 1 person is from POK, Pak occupied Kashmir. Okay, these are very important news. And one more news is very important for TSPSC. Lok Sabha starts debate on bill to open Central Tribal University. Okay. Lok Sabha is debating on a bill, Central Universities Amendment Bill. As per this bill, they will establish Sammakka Sarakka Central Tribal University in Telangana. So the Ministry of State for Education, Subhash Sarkar, said that this bill will honor the tribals of Telangana. Through this central university, it will promote advanced knowledge, institutional research facilities in tribal art, culture, customs, advancements in technology to tribal population. Okay. And one more thing to be remembered is that as per AP Reorganization Act, it is mandatory upon the government to establish Central University in Telangana. Okay. Next news. Let us go to the next news. Chardham project did not need EIA center in parliament. Okay, where is Chardham project? Chardham project is in Uttarakhand, in which the Sialkara tunnel is being developed. Just before we see the 41 men trapped in this tunnel, so there comes a question in parliament. The members replied that it does not require EIA, environmental impact assessment. Okay, as per national highways expansion, we are expanding more than 100 kilometers. Totally Chardham covers 825 kilometers. In this we are developing small parcels of 53 projects. Okay, because we are developing small parcels, the center is replying that we don't need to conduct environmental impact assessment. So we have to see what is Chardham. Chardham project envisages all-weather connectivity to 4 major pilgrimage sites. It provides all-weather connectivity to 4 major pilgrimage sites. They are Kedarnath, Badrinath, Yamunotri and Gangotri. Kedarnath, Badrinath, Yamunotri and Gangotri. 4 pilgrimage centers. We are trying to provide all-weather connectivity. But the question here comes is that Himalayan region is a seismically active region. Seismically active region, and it is prone to landslides. We see Uttarakhand landslides. So if we don't conduct environmental impact assessment and we go on constructing infrastructure projects, we may face natural disasters in the future. So this is the drawback for not conducting environmental impact assessment. Okay, panel working on guidelines on seizure of personal digital devices, center tells to Supreme Court. Okay, this news appeared because what happened in 60 media collectives has written to Chief Justice that please frame norms against seizure of laptops and mobile phones of journalists. What happened means investigating agencies are seizing the personal laptops, phones of the persons, especially the journalists. And the journalists are telling that it is amounting to violation of right to privacy. So this kind of seizure of our personal devices by investigation agencies is a violation of privacy and it may threaten our life. So they returned to the CJI of India. Now the Supreme Court is asking the Solicitor General, please frame guidelines to be followed during the seizure of electrical devices by investigating agencies. Okay. Here comes the last news. Government seeks parliamentary nod for extra spending for financial year 24. Okay, Union government is seeking parliamentary approval. Government is seeking parliamentary approval. Government is seeking parliamentary approval for providing the additional 1.29 lakhs. How much money? 1.29 lakh crores. For what purpose government is asking provide additionally? Means it is for subsidies to farmers. To provide subsidies to farmers and to provide rural employment programs. Okay. To meet fertilizer subsidy and other subsidies to farmers and for rural employment programs, government is seeking parliament, please provide us extra fund of 1.29 lakh crores. Okay, apart from the budgetary grants for the financial year 2024. Google unveils Gemini, AI tech trained to behave like humans. Okay, in previous groups they asked about different AIs who launched ChatGPT like that. So Google launched one AI tech trained. It behaves like humans. Its name is Gemini. Okay, Google launched Gemini, which behaves like humans. Okay, this is an AI model trained to behave in a human like ways and intensified. The rollout will unfold phases with less sophisticated. There are less sophisticated versions of Gemini. They are called Nano and Pro. These are used in Google AI powered chatbot Bard. Okay, in Bard they are using this Nano and Pro, and they are using this into Pixel 8, that is Google smartphone. They are using it that for also. Okay, here one thing to be remembered is that Gemini is the it is the AI based, it behaves like humans. It is an AI based platform of Google. Okay, thank you. With this, let us end today's current affairs.